everyone, we're on Unit 4, Day 3, triangles and their angles. We're going to be talking about external angle theorem, okay? So let's remind ourselves about what we talked about on Day 2. So triangle sum theorem are the, again, interior angles, and their sum is 180 degrees. So I have 3 triangles. So I have 3 angles in a triangle, and they have to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, these are the interior. So again, let's remind ourselves how we do that. So TSU, how would I find out what this angle is? Well, I know that this is 25, angle U, and angle T are 45. So we would add those together. Then we will just call this angle Y. And all 3 of those add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to do 25 plus 45 and subtract that from 180. And we would get 110 degrees. Now let's think about this. We have vertical angles. So vertical angles mean that these two are congruent. So if this is 110 degrees, this also has to be 110 degrees. So QSR is 110 degrees because these two are vertical angles. So looking at the relationships we have and going from there. And then finding out what angle R is, also known as the measure of angle QRS, because R is in the middle. Okay, so if this is 110 and that's 45, let's look at this one. I have 25, 110, and 45, right? So if this is 45 and that's 110, well, it looks like it's going to be 25 degrees. And why on earth is it going to be 25 degrees? Well, if I extended these triangles out, I could notice that these are alternate interior angles. And these are alternate interior angles. And these are congruent. Ta-da! So these are alternate interior because there's that line going through it, 25 degrees. These are 45 degrees and a line going through it, and then the 110. Okay, so looking back on our angle relationships is huge for this unit. Okay, we made triangles out of them. All right, so now let's try these ones. Again, looking at the angles in between. All right, so we have ACB. So now we're talking about angles. So know the difference. If I was talking about triangle ACB, compared to talking about angle ACB. It's very different, okay? So again, the angle compared to a triangle. So ACB, very careful on which way is it going. So I'm talking about this one. Again, what am I doing? Well, let's look at this triangle that has this. So here's my triangle. I have 58 and 45 and then the missing one, okay? So we will call that, what letter? Let's call it letter T. All right, so I have 58, 45, and then plus T equals 180 degrees. Okay, once I find out what this angle is, I will know what this angle is because they are vertical. Whoop, whoop. So this, it's like a 2-in-1 special. Finding out one and getting the other answer. Whoop, whoop. So 180 minus 45 minus 58, and we get 77 degrees. So T equals 77 degrees. So if this is 77 degrees, therefore this one's 77 degrees. So this is DCE. So DCE, am I looking for that one? Nope, it doesn't look like I need that one. But which one do we need next? CEB. So let's look at CEB and see what that looks like. CEB, so that's this angle right here. Okay, well, I'm going to skip that one for now and see if I can find out another one. CDE, there's the ticket. So CDE, so if this is 77 and this is 49, I can find out what that angle is. Let's call that Let's make up a letter for that one. So let's call that X. Okay, so CDE, I have 77 plus 49 plus X equals 180. So you can combine like terms for these. So 77 plus 49 is 126. Or you can subtract them 2 times. You can subtract them 2 times if that's easier for you. Again, it's up to you on how you want to do this. So 180 minus 126 is 54. All right, so this angle right here is 54 degrees. So 54 degrees is CDE, and ACB was 77 degrees. All right, so I have those 2 angles going on. Now let's erase and kind of see what else we have here, now that I can kind of fill in the gaps. So I have 77 here, I have 54 here, I have 77 on this side also. Okay, so how can I find out what the rest of them are? Okay, what other relationships did I learn last unit? So CEB is this one right here. Okay, well, I need to know what this one on the inside is. Okay, and how do I find that out? Well, these 2 angles added up also equal 180 degrees. So a linear pair also adds up to 180. So let's do 180 minus 77, and that's 103. So if this is 103, this is also 103. So finding out what those 2 are is huge. So once I find one, again, I can find out what another one is. So if I need to find out what CEB is, let's make that Z. I had to find out what this angle on the inside was. So I have 103 plus 30 degrees plus Z equals 180. So we have a lot of 180s going on. Again, a straight line, a linear pair makes 180, and a triangle also adds up to 180. Okay, so knowing the difference between those, kind of seeing what you got here. So 180 minus 103 minus 30, and I have 47. Okay, now I can't figure out alternate interior angles. I don't know if there are parallel lines here, so I can't use that trick this time. So I have 47 degrees for this one. And let's find our last one, ADC. All right, finding out what this one is. Well, now that I know that that's 103, then I can make up. Now we have something cooking. So let's call that angle V. All right, so I have 32, 103, and angle V. Again, these 2 angles, I don't know what they add up to. All I'm focusing on is the triangles. Okay, so let's do this last one here. So I have 32 plus 103 plus angle V equals 180, and then we can solve from there. So 180 minus 103 minus 32. So V is 45 degrees. Okay, so those are my 3 angles based on the different relationships. Again, looking to see your vertical angles, what those relationships are. And knowing that a straight line adds up to 180, and ones that are across the way are congruent. So those will be huge factors in this unit. All right, now let's go on to the next one. Find the following angle measures. So let's look at our relationship. So I want you guys to try this one out. So I have this angle. I have this triangle. Okay, how do I find out what angle 3 is? Okay. And then if I have that angle, can I find out what angle 1 is based on the relationship of these 2? Once I find out what angle 1 is, then I could determine this triangle. So first find out angle 3, then you can find out angle 1 based on the relationship with 96, and then you can find angle 2. So those are my angle measurements of all 3. Angle 3 is 21 degrees, angle 1 is 84, and angle 2 is 43 degrees. Again, the big ticket item is angle 1. Because these 2 angles, 96 and angle 1, added up to 180 degrees, I subtracted those and found out that it was 84. Okay, so this 1, it doesn't mean it's 1 degree. It's asking you for angle 1. Okay? All right, now let's go on to our unit today, external angle theorem. So I want you guys to label this A, label this B, C, and D. Okay? So external angle theorem. It's talking about this external angle, outside angle. Okay, so talking about the relationship of the ones that are opposite of angle D. So we have angle A plus angle B equals angle D. Okay, so these internal angles equal the outside angle. And why is that? Because there is a relationship between three angles that add up to 180 degrees. So these three add up to 180 degrees. And angle C and angle D, because they share a straight line, they are a linear pair, that also adds up to 180 degrees. So the combination of those make this relationship happen. A plus B equals D. The remote interior angle is this one right here, which is angle C. Angle C plus angle D equal 180 degrees. Okay? So we could kind of make this combination. All right, so let's try that out. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C. Trying to get my colors together, guys. Angle C equals 180 degrees. Okay? And angle C plus angle D also equals 180 degrees. So you could actually substitute those to make them equal to each other. So what I did is I plugged this in for 180. I substituted in. And now, if I have two C's, those can cross out, and therefore, I get this problem up here. Okay? So again, that relationship between the 180 degrees makes this possible. The two interior angles equal the exterior angle. Okay? So that's what this thought process, how I showed you why this works. But bottom line, these two interior angles equal the outside, and it's the interior angles that don't share a line with the exterior angle. Okay, so let's check this out. So here are my interior angles. So I'm going to do 24 plus 54, and that equals angle X. Okay, X degrees. So I'm going to just add them together. 24 plus 54. Oh my goodness, we can do it. We can add 78 degrees. So 78 degrees equals X. Okay? Now let's do it again. Again, the interior angles that are opposite of this angle right here. So if you notice, this one is missing. I'm not talking about the one that is attached to X. Because if it's attached to X, I could just subtract it from 180. Talking about the interior angles opposite from the exterior angle. So let's combine like terms. 5x and 5x is 10x. 4 plus 6 is 10. And that equals 120. So I'm going to subtract 10 to both sides and get 110. And x equals 11. Okay, I'm going to plug it back in. So 11 times 5 is 55 plus 4. I'm going to get 59 degrees. 5x plus 11 is 55 plus 6. And that's 61. And 61 degrees. And that should equal 120. So 59 plus 61. And that equals 120 degrees. So I found out what x was and plugged it back in and found out what those angles were worth. Okay? So that was my check. All right, number 10. So we have to be careful on what are we doing. So we can do this in two different ways. So I'm going to show you both ways. These two add up to 180 degrees. So I have 67 plus x equals 180. Or I have 22 plus 91. And I'm not going to make that equal to 180. What does it equal? Well, it equals angle X. So there's two different ways to solve this, and I'm going to prove to you that you get the same answer either way. So 180 minus 67 is 113. And then if I do 22 plus 91, that also equals 113. So either way, you can get the answer of 113 degrees by either knowing the relationship of these two, or knowing the relationships that these two interior angles equal the exterior angle. Now in this one, I don't have the option. I don't know what this angle is, but that's okay. I don't need it. These two angles equal the outside angle. So let's combine like terms and solve. So x plus x is 2x. 25 plus 17, let's put that in the calculator. Practice using the calculator. Plus 42 equals 3x plus 2. Okay, so solve that. Solve for x. So x equals 40, and then I can plug it back into both of them if I have to. If I'm asked to do that on my test, I can plug 40 back in and solve. So 40 plus 25 is 65. 40 plus 7 is 57. 3 times 40 is 120 plus 2 is 122. So does 65 plus 57 equal 122? Did I do it right? Let's see. 65 plus 57. Well, by golly, that equals 122. Holla, I did it right. Okay, so you can plug it back in also. All right, moving right along. What a journey. So find the following given. Oh, here's an indicator. We're talking about parallel lines, people. So let's think about what the relationships we know about these magical things. Okay, so DBE. So we're talking about this one right here. Okay, so can I make parallel lines here? So if these are my parallel lines, let's look at this transversal right here. Let's cut it. Okay. So I know if this is 68, this is also 68 degrees because these are alternate interior. Okay, so I know that. So I'm looking for BCE. So I'm looking for this one right here. Well, if this is 68 and that's 63, I can find out what this angle is. Okay, so BCE I can find out. 68 plus 63 plus, let's call this just C, equals 180. So now you can find out what that angle is worth. Okay, let's talk about DBE. DBE, so we're asking about this one right there. Okay, well, how do I figure this out? Well, these three add up to 180 degrees. So sometimes you have to look at the line. Sometimes you have to look at the triangle. So this time I'm going to look at the line. So I know 49 plus, let's call this B plus 68 equals 180 degrees. So find out what B is and find out what C is. Add and subtract. Add together. 49 plus 68, so 180. So 49 plus 68. And subtract that, so that's 117. Subtract that from 180, and you get 63 degrees. Looks a little familiar. All right. And then I have 63 plus 68 is 131 minus 180, and that's 49 degrees. And that's what this one is, 49 degrees. Okay, perfect. So knowing, again, the relationship between these three, knowing the relationship between the linear pair, and also reminding yourself what alternate exterior means. That means that they are congruent. Okay, they are congruent. Awesome. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope you guys have a great day.